going into this, you kind of feel like you're a wheel. And so Winnie, as much as she was silenced and so living in a black and white world, you know, among white people, she is obviously demonized. She is, I mean, I remember one of my school teachers said, who was white, and she said, if Winnie would ever become president, they were all very impressed with how she was responding in the TRC. They were just floored by how intelligent she was. But at the same time, they were saying if she would ever be president of the country, they would leave the country. And so she was demonized by so many people, and that's how they saw her. But among black people, it doesn't matter. We know how much she fought. We know what she did for us. I mean, I think I heard so many negative news about her, and yet on the inside of me, I just knew that this woman literally died for us. And for me, to some degree, I almost feel like she's more important than Mandela, you know, in her impact. And for me, she stood the truth until the end. And so she's relevant to this generation because she's a mother. And it's been happening since apartheid, since before we've been captured. And for us, we're only going to be free when we own everything that is on our land. And every single human being in our country has equal value and equal share of the country, of the country, and shares in the country's resources.
And that's Siki Delanga. She is a writer, poet, and social activist from South Africa. We're looking at the legacy of Winnie Mandela. And if you could, before, I know you have a poem to give us, but if you could, before you to give us the poem, which reflects today was actually the memorial for Winnie Mandela, as you know. And if you could just tell us a bit about some of the mentorship she had with this generation in the movements like the Roads Must Fall, Feeds Must Fall, that you were part of as well.
Well, I don't know if I can say the mentorship, but for me, she's been the mother who people can run to. So when the other leaders were rejecting the fallism movements, she's the person who understood it. You know, she was there. I remember seeing her. There's a wonderful interview about her online where she's speaking to some activists in Johannesburg, women, and she was always broken for the condition of younger people and encouraging the voice and, amplifying the cause, almost like for us to carry on the cause. And so I felt that what we stand for now, because I think before we were forced to kind of go into this Rainbow Nation story that does not really speak the truth about the conditions, to overlook our pain, to really die for this rainbow to be beautiful. But we are still dying as much as we were dying under apartheid. And so for us, she was this banner of truth that gives us courage that the fight isn't over. And her voice was important as a mother who suffered. And in a sense, her continual, how she was pushed aside was also a symbol of the suffering that continues, the suffering of women, the suffering of the poor. So in a sense, because she was not embraced, it meant that and changing that narrative. The poem is called Tell Them, for the nation of Winnie's children. When they refuse to mention her name among the greatest warriors that ever were, when you see them sideline her, tainting her with titles more fitting on them, when they write her off as a murderer rather than the greatest protector of your people, when they say that she killed a child when you know that she fought off their bullets with her bare body bleeding, preserving the children of the nation. Tell them that you know what they did to their Joan of Arc. Tell them that if she was not, they would not have their Nelson to deify. Tell them that she confronted their guns with nothing but her fury and said, "Not on my watch." Tell them that she was framed as an uncontrollable, violent woman because with all their armies of police, with all their scores of spies, with all their spin doctors, with all their guns pointed at her, Winnie defeated them. Tell them that they failed to diminish her mission, they multiplied it. Tell them that they failed. Tell them that Winnie won. Tell them that they bought journalists to invent a witch for them to burn in public. Tell them that she has been publicly humiliated and tried. Tell them that she privately suffered and bled nearly to death from their torture. Tell them that still, she superpower was simply that she was a black woman. They thought that was a curse. They thought it was something to be downtrodden. They thought it meant to be nothing. They thought a lot of things that meant nothing. She was a black woman, a phenomenon. Thank you.
Thank you. And Siki Dilanga, she is a South African writer, poet, and social activist and organizer. And that poem is to commemorate the life, legacy of Winnie Mandela. And the poem is entitled
Tell Them.
Tell Them.
Siki Langa.
Siki Langa. And
Glanga.
Yeah, Siki Langa. And we were actually the first place to have the poem here on the show. I mean, it hasn't been read anywhere else. So
yes.
Thank you very much for honoring us. I don't know if you have any closing thoughts on the legacy and what this generation wants to see as continue that the work of Winnie Mandela.
I am very excited by. I know it's a strange thing, but I feel enlivened by her, by Winnie's passing. I feel like it has, there was already a movement happening, but her death, it has just fueled even people whom I have never seen participating in anything political. I see a lot of women in South Africa honoring Winnie Mandela. That's how much she meant, even people who would not consider themselves political, even though, technically our existence is political, but her power and her influence is so powerful that it is even waking up women, and it's changing the narrative about women, and in itself, her death is a movement. It's doing a work that I believe will be even more significant than when she was alive.
Siki Langa, thank you for being on the show, and hope that you come back so we can discuss further about the issues concerning the new South Africa.
Thank you so much, Musa. Really appreciate it.
So thank you again. And I also wanted to remind people that there's a memorial for Winnie Mandela at Howard University West Campus at the law school. That's 2900 Van Ness Street, Northwest, and that's being presented by the Embassy of the Republic of South Africa.